This is a review and some comments on the Halls Supreme 10x8 greenhouse, which I completed last week and which survived Storm Eunice. I thought I'd just do a video because some of the instructions are not particularly clear. So let's go inside where it's a bit drier. The instructions come in this instruction manual. I recommend that you make a copy of that or download them from the website, because it's particularly useful to have that sheet over there which lists all the components separately, as well as the main instructions over here for what they are worth. A few preliminary comments, and starting from the bottom. I originally had a shed here, so you can see the original base from that shed, which I had to extend with some concrete, put the formwork in, hired a concrete mixer to mix all that, which was actually very straightforward. It is very important to get the base nice and flat, horizontal, perfectly horizontal, because you have got these very large 1.1 metre high pieces which go along, and they need to be perfectly square, otherwise they're not going to fit in properly. Just because of these nice large 1.1 metre high pieces. As I said, get it as flat as you can. The base, which is actually just a frame which goes around the bottom and does lift up slightly as well, gives you a bit more height, does not come pre-drilled along the bottom. So as you can see, I had to drill 3 holes on the side, 1, 2, 3 on the side, and on the ends 2 holes as well, and then screw that into the concrete base. The base comes with these black pieces here as well, without any instructions as to what you're supposed to do. So that is actually how they fit together. Some are more straightforward than others. So for example, over here you can see that you need to put a black piece in between this diagonal strut which goes up to the right. So what that means is, as you are putting up the greenhouse, you need to start unscrewing these and then screwing them back together again carefully. Other comments to make are, I have here, you'll probably noticed that there is, as I went in, quite a lot of broken glass over here. This is the toughened glass. As I was trying to put this piece in on the far left hand side, I must have caught it on the base, which meant that it just shattered into 1,000 pieces. So one moment you're holding a piece of glass, and after that it just disappeared from your hand. So I do need to tidy that up. I did have a spare piece of glass because I ordered this 5 piece louvre window over here, which fits in nicely. When you are fitting this, there are a couple of points to make. Firstly, you have to push it down as far as you can, which doesn't mean loosening that nut over there and then pushing it down, and otherwise you can't get the pieces on top in. So the louvre, 5-piece louvre, does come with 2 330 pieces, 1, 2 over there, which then fit in to the piece, the bench piece, the flexible piece on top. The other thing about the louvre is that when you're fitting the glass, you need to really squeeze this up as much as possible to hold it tight. When I first fitted the first piece, I put it in there and he slid all the way through and smashed on the other side. So I actually went to a local glass merchant and they cut another piece of regular glass, so not the toughened glass, for about £5 to replace that, and you can't tell which piece it is anymore, but obviously when it smashes it will break completely differently. Hopefully it won't break for you. Other fiddly things to know about are the doors. It's not entirely clear how these doors should fit together. That is because the drawings are not particularly good, so I'm just going to quickly review what they look like, and you can pause it if you wish as you go up, like so, and similarly on the other side. So there are differences between the doors. This left hand piece, which I think is supposed to be the right hand piece, but I'm not really sure, has got this flap which comes out, so when you close them together it overlaps, and then this handle just clicks in place. To get this handle in, you have to slide it from the top or the bottom. And when you try and fit it along here, it's actually really hard, but once you push it past there, it'll slide very easily to its position. And then you have these two clips. I'm not entirely sure what this is for over here. If you know, let me know in the comments. These clips work well. The window clips, there are a lot of those to put in, and my fingers are quite bruised from it still a few days afterwards. So I would recommend wearing gloves if you can, but that's quite tricky. So it does say how many each piece should have. So this smaller piece, which I think is 300 high, has got only two, one on each side. And the bigger pieces have more. You can order spare, but there were enough in the packet. Every piece has got these stickers on them, which identifies them. So that can be scraped off when it's wet. And if you're not aware already, if you spray it with some WD-40 and then give it a good rub, you can get rid of all the stickiness there. Another tricky one was getting these two pieces. So this is the 1.1 meter 600 wide piece, and the next piece on top of it. As you can see, the next piece goes behind this bar all the way up. So you have to put the top end in first before you can get it in place. The problem comes is it's very tight. So the only way I could do this was putting the bottom in of the bottom piece, put the top in of the top piece, and then pulling the join outwards to reduce the height and get everything in. It was very fiddly getting that piece in. The other very fiddly bit is coming round to the side. It's rather muddy at the moment. You put your 1.1 meter piece in like so with the clips. The next thing to do is you put the curved piece in, or the flexible piece, using the black joining piece here. So you put the black joining piece on the bottom piece first, and you slide the flexible piece in like so. What I did after that is you have to start to one bay at a time. So the 10-foot one has got 5 bays, so you start at one end and work your way across. I then fitted the top piece and clipped it in, just the two top ones. You can see the top over there and over there, two clips. So it was held in place, and getting the black S-shaped piece on top of here onto the top flexible piece. Getting this glass piece in there is a real fiddle. So what I did was I'd use some hair clips to leave it open, and you put 1, 2, 3 in, and then pushed it up in place, and then moved them along. That seemed to be the best way to do it. It is very fiddly. If you have something to help you, then that would probably be helpful, but you do somehow need to leverage them open. And final thoughts, putting it up by yourself is relatively straightforward. The only time I would say you need somebody to help you is when you have built the gables and you put the first gable up. It's helpful if somebody can hold it, because the first thing you're supposed to do is attach this long piece and leave it at an angle going down to hold that in place, and then you attach this second bar over here. This has got to be the right way round. You can't have, otherwise you can't get into these nuts for these bolts. So you need to have it this way, like so, otherwise it doesn't fit. So if somebody holds it at that point, it's relatively easy to do. And I'm very happy with it in general. The other thing is as follows. When it comes, all the pieces come in numbered packets corresponding to the pages. So there's a page 1 instructions packet, the page 2 instruction packet, etc. Once you get to page 5, you have to put these pieces, the 8615 pieces, which are these two pieces over there, which where you have the openers. It's this bar over there. So you're looking for the 8615 in the number 5 packet. But it doesn't appear in the number 5 packet or the number 6 packet. It's actually in the number 7 packet. So you're not going to find that unless you go to the number 7 packet, which is for the windows which go in. So the numbering is a bit confusing at times. So for my version, I was doing the 7A because the glass here is less than 3.5 millimeters thick, and then doing 7A, that's right, even though it says 7B and 7A the wrong way around. And then doing the 8A, which is for this version as well. Putting the rubber beading is a bit fiddly. There is a technique to that, and there are videos how to do that. Essentially, if you consider it like a zip and hold it at an angle, it's relatively easy to do that, but you want to put some moisturising cream on your fingers afterwards. If you have any questions, then please feel free to put them in the comments. You do get some extra pieces you don't need. So for example, the 135 S-shaped metal piece you don't need at all. So it does come in the pack, which is a bit confusing. But yeah, it's probably took somewhere between 10 and 15 hours to make. I'm quite happy with it. If you're wondering what's going on over here, because I had to pour the concrete, I thought I'd have a couple of beds inside, which meant less concrete to be poured. Now I'm going to pick up all the broken glass. Hope you enjoy your greenhouse and have many years of happy growing.